Hey, Anissa Coy here with Firehouse Education and this week's Ask Anissa video column. And this week, the question that we're going to go over came in via email, and it is a doozy. This question came in from Matthew. Hi, Matthew, and thank you very much for sending it in. So his question, there are actually 2 or 3 questions in here, so I'm going to read this. The biggest question I have always had is, how do companies do their pricing? Xactimate has too low of prices. Are companies doing in-house pricing or are they tweaking Xactimate? Can I charge whatever I want for a water damage and the insurance/homeowner has to pay me? I can't perform small rebills or buildbacks for Xactimate pricing, and local contractor rates are 5 to 6 times Xactimate. Okay, that was an awful lot. Matthew, great, awesome questions. And actually, I'm really glad someone's asked me this because this is a pretty hot topic in the industry right now, and there's a lot of controversy going on around this. And there's a few bits of information out there that I kind of feel strongly about. So to answer these questions, number one, just having gotten that email, Matthew, I would ask you a lot of questions back that you would need to answer for me to really kind of dial down to where you're coming from, because that matters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume 3 things in my reply to your questions. Number one, I'm going to assume that you are a skilled contractor, meaning you know very well how to profitably and efficiently do small buildbacks or rebuilds, construction work, whether it's sheetrock, trim, vinyl, whatever that is. Okay, I'm going to assume that you're a skilled contractor. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to assume is that you know how to utilize Xactimate to its fullest capabilities, and you know how to do an accurate Xactimate build back or rebuild reconstruction scope. Okay. The third thing that I'm going to assume is that you have a reasonable expectation of what a profit margin would be when it comes to reconstruction or build back. That's a very important part of this whole mix here. And the reason is because rebuild and reconstruction is the least profitable part of restoration work, period. Okay, contractors, actually, it's very, very common that contractors come into the restoration industry because they see, oh my gosh, look at all this higher profit margins, and I can do so much better over here than just the reconstruction that I'm doing, when they're talking about mitigation and contents and that sort of thing. So that's why contractors are getting into it, because restoration work has way more higher profit margin items and money's available than just the reconstruct. Okay, so all of that being said, and my assumptions are correct, here's how I would answer your questions. Your first question, because there was actually 3 here, was how do companies do their pricing? The majority of restoration companies, successful restoration companies who are making very good money, use Xactimate across the board as a platform. Are companies doing in-house pricing or are they tweaking Xactimate? Yes, they're kind of can tweak Xactimate. There is such a thing called adjustment for market conditions that is a very deep topic, and I don't have Xactimate right in front of me here to even go over that with you. So just know that you can do market adjustments for current market conditions, whether it's the price of materials, having to travel to a remote location, things like that. Okay. Then your third question was, can I charge whatever I want for a water damage and the insurance company/homeowner has to pay? Well, the short answer is sure, you can charge whatever you want. The ultimate answer, though, is going to be if you want to go out of business or not be successful, because, you know, not unlike a contractor. I mean, just think about it. If a contractor wants to go out and say, hey, I want to charge whatever I want to charge. Most of these guys are charging $10,000 on a bathroom remodel. I want to charge $50,000. That's fine, he can. But boy, he better sell that, because, you know, who do you think homeowners are going to go with? If contractors went out and just charged whatever they wanted based upon how they feel about their restoration work, we'd have the Wild West. It would be ridiculous, okay? And again, as I've said in past videos, who's the person in the middle that's going to be basically the innocent bystander that's going to get caught in the middle of this meat grinder? It's going to be the homeowner, okay? So charging whatever you want or to have that attitude, in my opinion, is completely ridiculous, all right? Now, that being said, I know that my answer to your 3 questions isn't going to be popular with everybody, but I'm here to tell you, after almost 18 years of experience in this industry, which I do feel experience matters. You know, there's a track record of what works and what doesn't work. And there's been guidelines and parameters set up for a reason, so that we don't have anarchy, if you will. Now, can those things change, or should they be changed? Maybe. And yes, they can change. But you do change for the good through certain channels and means, all right? And raising industry standards, that sort of thing. But I don't want to get off topic, because the topic that we're talking about here is, in particular, reconstruction. And, you know, Matthew, this is a huge topic, and I really wish that I could have my hubby on this side of the camera instead of on the other side of the camera as usual for this topic, because he's so amazing at this sort of thing. Been a contractor for 25 years and just knows this topic inside and out. But here's what I will tell you with my experience in here. You know, contractors who do a profit margin of, say, you know, 40% on a rebuild, they feel that's really, really good. I'm sorry, not on a rebuild, but on like a construction job. They feel like that's really good. I'm talking about a new house built. So when you're doing reconstruction and restoration, what kind of profit margin are you expecting? I mean, if you're going to go out there and do contents and do 70, 80%, or you're going to go do, you know, hazmat cleaning or water damage, and you're going to do 85, 90% in a profit margin, if you have those kind of profit margins in mind for reconstruction, or feel you should be able to do that in the reconstruction part, that's not realistic, and that's not going to happen. Okay. And I want to make sure that, Matthew, when you're looking at your reconstruction, are you completely separating that out on your job, by the way? Do you have your reconstruction costs and income over here separated from maybe the mitigation part of that? So you're very clear, and are you very clear on exactly what is your current profit margin? Say, so, you know, I've heard some people throw some numbers out there. Oh, on reconstruct, I do 50, 60%. I'm going to tell you, I'm a 30-year accountant, and I'm good at Xactimate billing, and I have a sharp pencil when it comes to this stuff, but I've never done 50, 60% on a rebuild, and I would really want to see some proof of that to show me your analysis, to show me where you got that profit percentage, because I would have a really hard time believing that. Using Xactimate, look, Xactimate is a platform, and I get that. However, it is a platform that we use to kind of keep some industry standards there, okay, so for everybody to come together in sort of like some agreement. But Xactimate can be, as you put it, tweaked with in legitimate ways. And that doesn't mean you just go in and go, all right, well, I'm going to take Xactimate and I'm going to erase all their prices on there and use their line item, but I'm going to make my own price. That's not what I'm talking about. There can be legitimate adjustments for market and materials conditions. And you know, you also said something, Matthew, about your contractors being 5 or 6 times they would charge compared to what you're charging using the Xactimate on a small rebuild or reconstruct. And I would really have to question whether or not your Xactimate is accurately done then, or done, you know, utilizing all of the different things like, you know, 2-foot cut up and masking and prepping and blending. Like, are you using all of the correct line items in Xactimate to get the money where it needs to be? Because 5 to 6 times is probably one of the biggest differences that I've ever heard of in Xactimate. So in wrapping up, some of the biggest, probably the biggest advice that I would give to you, Matthew, or anyone watching the video that is having difficulty in this rebuild area, is you need to know Xactimate. get some training on Xactimate. Be sure that you know how to utilize all the line items. Be sure you understand what adjustment to market conditions are, labor and materials, and how to use those type of features in Xactimate. I have seen so many scopes come to me, or invoices, whether it's reconstruction, whether it's deodorization, contents, water damage, and they're having problems getting paid on them because they're not done right. And if I can see that right off the bat, adjuster who's trained, which by the way, a lot of adjusters go to Xactimate training, they know what those bills are supposed to look like. They know what those scopes or estimates are supposed to look like. So it's very, very important that you not only for your own bottom line and your bank account know those things, but it's important for you to know Xactimate well and how to use it so you look professional and you do look like you know what you're doing, not like you're just some, fly-by-night guy that decided, or gal, to get into restoration, and you wind up embarrassing yourself with a scope or an invoice that is just completely out of line and going to look ridiculous to the adjuster. So that being said, Matthew, I really hope that you found value in the video. This is a topic that I'm really passionate about because I think that there's a lot of shift going on in the industry wrapped around this, and some good shift that I can see, some I don't think is so good. But anyway, I really want to go deeper into this because, again, I assumed a few things here when you sent this to me. There's questions I haven't, even asked you, like, are you doing all this in-house? Are you subbing it all out? What is your experience with construction? Like, there's a lot of questions that I would ask you, okay? Are you missing line items because, what's your system for checking with your billing process? Are you getting the best price on materials? Do you hold an inventory so that you know that you're being efficient and getting the best price to be able to do your rebills that way? So anyway, a lot of questions, and there's actually a lot of things I really want to go over with you on this topic. So I'm going to delve deeper into this. I'm going to do some videos here in the next little bit that you're going to see coming out. And I might even pull my hubby on the other side of the camera for some of these because he's really, really good about this. Reconstruction, my experience has been 10 years of just the reconstruction part. It's definitely my least favorite part. I'm going to be very upfront with you on that, but learned a lot about how to be efficient and productive and make good money. Yes, using Xactimate, with using market condition adjustments, and being proficient and having some in-house carpenters that work for us as well. So anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to send me an email. I appreciate it. Don't forget, send me those questions to anisa@firehouseeducation.com, and I just might feature you on next week's Ask Anisa video column. I'll see you next week.